Okay, I'll bet that title got your attention, didn't it? I was thinking, I was, moving through life, and G Man has what we call his 10% stuff that he's really picky about. And I was looking at that 10% stuff, and then I put my 10% stuff, or really it's more than that, but we'll just say 10% stuff, apartment when I moved over. And I was looking around and looking at G Man's life, looking at my life, and I started spanning and looking at everybody's life. And I realized something that all of us have OCD. All of us are addicted. It's just that some of us have OCD and addictions that are accepted by society, and others have OCD and addictions that are not accepted by society. Because in my case, my OCD is I need things to be orderly. I need to have no clutter. I need to have bright colors. I need to have everything really clean. But what's the difference truly between someone who likes clutter, who doesn't care about the dirt, and who likes more earthy colors? What's the difference? There is no difference. If I don't have my stuff, my 10%, the way I want it, I feel uncomfortable. Okay? Well, that's OCD. You'll see me going through my house, straightening, cleaning, picking up. And in a house that's not like mine, I'm very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Someone that's in the other range feels the same in their place and uncomfortable in mine, but whose is right? Hello, my dear Michelle. Whose is right? Mine isn't more right than theirs. Mine is just my choice. And our society says, well, if you have a neat, clean home, then you're a good person. And if you have a cluttered, dirty home, you're a bad person. Well, that's judgment. That's judgment. Society says if it's not neat, clean, and orderly, you have a cluttered, messed up mind. Well, that's judgment. And it puts people who are comfortable in that arena like they're not as good as people that are neat and clean. That so my OCD of neat and clean, and I'm OCD neat and clean, not like anal, but so what if I was? So what if I was? Why is my form of OCD okay? Because society says it's okay? Well, that's not right. That's not fair. My daughter, Stephanie's one of the highest vibratory people that I know. She is not, she likes her clutter. She'll keep it clean, but so what? She doesn't care if it's not. And she's one of the highest vibratory beings that I know. So I was looking at that and I realized that there was judgment there. There's judgment there in society and with us. And we need to get rid of that. Because in truth, we all are OCD. We all have our things that we surround ourselves with that make us feel okay and better. And whose right is it to say one is better than the other? The trick here is that I know what mine is. I like it that way. I don't want to change it. The trick is to accept the other guys for being what it is. And as we move up into oneness, to include all forms of the OCD that we've all created in order to survive in 3D. That's the trick. Because there's nothing wrong with it. And I've told you guys before, the biggest addiction that humans have is in thinking. So, society, again, we go like the OCD, clean and neat is okay, OCD. Society says so. Well, the addiction of thinking all the time is okay by society too. But the addiction of um, of drugs or alcohol or whatever else, society says no, that's against the law. You're bad for doing that. But this addiction of thinking too much, well, that's a good thing because it makes you more money, it gets you a bigger house, buys you a car. But in truth, what's the difference? The only difference is that one addiction is accepted by society and the other addiction is not. That's the only difference. And whose right is it to say which is better, which is worse? Guarantee you the addiction of thinking has caused a great deal of harm on this planet. Way more than the addiction of alcohol, even. which is one of my most unfavorite addictions because I worked in the ER. A lot of drugs come in the ER and they are not fun. But in truth, if you put it all down to it, you take out the judgment and look at things objectively. Objectively speaking, the addiction of thinking has definitely created more negative things on this planet than any of the other addictions, probably all of the addictions combined. So, if we're going to look at this objectively and stop the judging, um, how are you in the addiction of thinking? If your addiction to thinking, if you think all the time and your mind revs, then don't be judging anybody else's addiction until you get yours squared, and then don't judge them anyway. But I think that's a big aha moment to realize that we're all OCD. It's just some of us are OCD and accepted by society, and some of us are not. And we need to get rid of that one right there. Okay, we were OCD, cool. How can we raise that vibration, accept everyone, understand that that's what we did to be in 3D, but now we need to up it. We need to up our game. We need to start accepting all the versions of what we all had to do in order to survive in the low densities of 3D and not judge any of us because it was a hard, hard gig. So, whatever it is that you had to do, no matter if you're starseed or long term human, it doesn't matter. Surviving in a human form is surviving in a human form. And how you did that, good for you, you're still here. And now you're in 4D, so good for you. So we need to not judge ourselves or others because of the past and what we had to do to survive here in 3D, accepting what happened and stop labeling them because truly the labels are decided good and bad by you and the people around you, your society or the planet. Other than that, it's just pure D nonsense. It could have been the other way around just as easily. Just as easily, society could have said, no, this is the OCD behavior that's good, so it's not OCD now. Only if you don't do what we like, what we accept as a whole, do you become labeled as an OCD negative thing. But look at what you do day to day. Most people, especially in the city, get up every day at the same time, bathe, get breakfast, go to work at the same time over and over and over. And if they don't do that routine, even to the point of Saturday, they do this activity. Sunday, the place I used to live in Houston, every Saturday morning, everyone was out at the same time mowing their grass. Every week. Every week. Repetitive behavior that you're uncomfortable with, if you don't do it, well, isn't that OCD? Isn't that obsessive compulsive behavior? If you've got to do it obsessively, repeatedly, over and over, or you're uncomfortable, isn't that OCD? So look at what people have done around you, what you've done, over and over again habitually. And if you don't do it, if you get cut off, do you feel anxious and upset about it? Then you've got OCD. I don't see anybody that doesn't. It's just there's some OCDs that's okay, some is not. So it's time we get rid of that business. Same thing with addictions. Same thing with addictions. And I would even say that people are addicted to eating. Eating a certain way, eating certain times of the day. If you have got it in your mind that you need to get up and eat this meal, and at noon you need to eat at 7 and then 12 and then 5 or 6 o'clock, 6 or 7 o'clock, and you're uncomfortable if you don't follow that pattern, how is that not OCD? Rather than stop and ask, am I hungry? Have you done that? If you have, well, then you're there. So let's look at all of our behavior, repetitive behavior, habitual behavior. Okay, let's look at our habits. Habits obsessively recreated over time is obsessive compulsive. We got to get rid of the habits. Habits is, we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be living in the now, doing things in the now, whatever that calls for. So the habits have to go away. And addictions, all that is a habit. It's a habit that you have to do over and over. You feel uncomfortable. Whether that's drugs or coffee in the morning, it's still the same thing. It's still a habit that you feel uncomfortable if you don't do it. And so we need to, that's a good way of not judging the world around you. See how tricky this is? How little this is that you have to be able to understand that judging is not just not judging Trump and serial killers. Is you have to start looking at it at a very moment to moment thing and fixing it without judging yourself and seeing other people doing the same. That's how we get to 5D. That's how you allow others to be in 4D or go down to 3D. You just allow them to be in their habits. So we had to have that to get to 3D, guys. So what? We're not there anymore. We're in 4D and moving up. It's not relevant to us anymore. Not to yourself and not to others. Okay, guys, that's it for me. I'll talk to you later. I love you. Huge hugs. Oh, say hi, Inka. Say hello. Hello. I hope I caught that.